You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Geek.Nerd.Tech, featuring a weekly roundup of tech news and gossip. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, Geek.Nerd.Tech.
What is that? Star Trek? Yeah. Welcome to Geek.Nerd.Tech. The show we break down tech news, nerd culture from a black and brown geek perspective. I'm Joe Braswell, joined as by my man Achilles Shine. How you doing, Achilles?
I'm doing good, man.
Good. You just got off a plane like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You're like jet to the set.
Jet to the set, bro. Actually, yeah.
You feel like you just parachuted in here.
I felt like I did.
Your bags came in with the bags.
I'm actually a hologram.
Okay, yeah. So you're projecting right now.
Projecting from far away.
Well, we're glad to have you. We're doing a special this is going to be a quick show. We just decided we would have a little fun, and we talk a lot about technologies, movie technologies that have come to life, and we thought it'd be a good idea if we made a list of our top 12. We're gonna do top 10, but we got top 12 movies and TV shows, and books to a certain extent of our favorite things that have actually come to life, real technology.
Yeah, I think it's cool, man. I mean, on the show we discuss a range of topics. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have like a synthesis of the two, like our popular culture stuff where we geek out on, like our favorite movies, and now the technology that we also have an affinity towards. So just to have the marriage of those two and things that are kind of like landmark events in film culture, I think it's dope to be able to cover it on the show.
I'm glad that we're finally talking about movies, for God's sake.
Yeah. It's a great job. And hello, Alexis, to you. I'm sorry. How you doing?
Oh, no, it's okay. Hi. I'm busy over here doing my thing. Engineering, like I do.
Good. Yeah. And I just want to say this is the best idea that I've ever had.
Wait. I thought this was Achilles' idea.
Don't ruin it for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad.
It's all good.
We're
man.
all a team here.
I mean, 3D printing is a big thing now, so you could 3D print my ideas all day. It's fine.
We're all a team here.
We're a big team.
Well, let's start this countdown. So, number 12, we have The Dark Knight Rises. Now, this is not an old movie, but this is a movie. There's some technology. There's all kinds of technology in this movie that Batman uses from his utility belt. He has all kind of stuff. But one of the things he in Dark Knight Rises, he uses the bat. The bat, which is it's a four-pronged sort of like jet hovercraft situation that looks like it could work, but doesn't work, and we know now that the drones is the same technology that drones are using now.
For sure.
With the four propellers.
Yeah, you're right.
So
right.
it's
like
very similar.
The design, like it looks like it has like a modular design,
right?
And like I think in the movie, obviously, it looks super fresh. All his means of transportation look super fresh, but this drone, essentially, this flying aircraft or whatever, is definitely here. Like we have drones that can be made into animals. Like we're about to do a project coming up in a couple months where the drone is actually an eagle.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've seen drones that are butterflies and insects. So like the sophistication of kind of like drones used for militaristic purposes is on a high level. Like they can change them to whatever animal to camouflage into whatever environment they need to do. So
Absolutely.
I mean, it's kind of interesting to see the bat, as you say, the bat drone.
Well, it's cool because Christopher Nolan's also known for being sort of using his stuff that's sort of grounded in reality as a real gritty approach, as opposed to the old Joel Schumacher, the first run of Batman movies with even Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher, who have the more fantastic sort of comic booky approach.
For sure.
That Nolan used a sort of gritty approach. That Bat Cycle was incredible in the first one.
Yep.
With the rotating wheel and the Batmobile we know as a tank, which actually built that.
It's
and
crazy.
so this is close, but it's pretty cool. So we thought we'd include that just to get it started. This is an interesting one. Number 11. This is kind of a real life one. So, from Earth to the Moon, the HBO Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg.
There you go.
It's I got it all in my brain.
Good for you.
it's this. This is not a movie because this actually really happened, but this is reminiscent of something Jules Verne thought about, like way back when in his writings. And we want to take it way back to the Jules Verne days because he actually sort of predicted this technology.
Absolutely, man. I mean, the technology is amazing when we talk about space travel and landing on Mars or going into deep space or figuring out ways to, populate a planet. Like, I mean, this is the type of thing that we'll need to be able to utilize and have someone envision it, almost 40 something years ago. And now we're beginning to see like more sophisticated versions of it now. Yeah. And as we move forward into 2020, like I think it's really amazing. Like we have these capsules that will be able to carry a 3D printer and carry a small group of people to be able to populate or explore, a certain place in space. I think it's amazing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Jules Verne first hit on this in 1865. So that's talking about a visionary. Yeah. He wrote about a projectile that will sort of hurl humans to the moon, and you know what? He called it.
Man, that's
100 years out.
Super calling it. Like
100 years out.
I'm gonna say right now, bro. 100 years from now.
Okay,
like,
you call it.
That's some foresight.
1969, we're on the moon. He called it 1865. I mean, 100 plus 404 years. He called it. So that's good. I want to move over to War of the Worlds.
What's that?
War of the Worlds.
I was like, don't joke.
I'm playing.
Don't joke.
And you know what? I'll make the point later. But Tom Cruise is on a lot of this list, man.
Tom Cruise has a lot to do. Tom Cruise is always sort of at the forefront of future technology. But War of the Worlds is actually H.G. Wells. We want to talk about the book.
Word.
Way back to the book.
It's a really good book.
That was your time.
Yes,
before time.
Yes,
Stop it.
I read that book in the library in my high school.
What's a library?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I listened to the soundtrack at my prom.
Oh, come on, you two. I can't.
That's funny.
No, but this is interesting. H.G. Wells first talked about this and this, and then we're talking about the tripod. It was actually the H.G. Wells wrote about these aliens that were the three-legged aliens that came and had this sort of ray, this death ray that shot out, which is the precursor to probably the laser beam, if you will. It was talked about even more famously in the Orson Welles radio drama.
Which, I have a story about that.
Which freaked people out at the time. It was played on the radio in 1930-something, 3-ish. And people actually thought, this is the days of radio before TV, people actually thought we were being invaded by Mars. It was the first sort of like thing. And people were jumping out of the windows, committing suicide. Damn. And he had to come on the bank. This was just a drama because it was so convincing. I've heard it since. Right. It's still pretty chilling. Yeah. If you listen to it now, I mean, it's them, but it's still pretty chilling. And then, of course, it's been made to a couple of movies and cartoons along the way, but more famously, Steven Spielberg and what's his name? Tom Cruise did the movie a few years ago. Yeah. So the laser is here.
It's here. I mean, I think it's. I mean, we often talk about technology and the military, and a lot of the technologies that become consumer products obviously start with the military industrial complex being something that's originated there first. So this is definitely something that the military is using actively. It's called the active denial system now, where they'll use a form of heat to pretty much corral people or keep people contained in a certain area. And so, I mean, we even see like some policing where they use like sound waves to paralyze people or push people back. Like, so I mean, you're seeing this type of technology that like many years ago might have been considered alien or foreign or something that we couldn't conceptualize actually being used like in real life situations now. So I think it's always a flip side of technologies. It could be used for helpful things and things that will help solidify and pursue humanity, and the flip side of the coin is the destructive attributes of it.
I'm always afraid of that stuff, as you know. What did you say, Alexa? She had a story?
I did have a story. So when I was little, my grandpa actually has the War of the Worlds radio broadcast on vinyl. And so as a kind of like a trick, but not really, he played it one time. He's like, do you want to hear what happened in, this time? And, the aliens were actually real. And I was like, what? And so he played it. And I actually thought that happened.
Oh, wow.
And I was really scared that they were going to come. And he's like, if you're not a good girl, these aliens are going to come back and they're going to take you and this and this and this and this.
And you were 17.
No. Can you imagine? No, I think I was like 6, 7 years old. So I didn't know about that until I got older, and then I found the record, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you had this. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess you don't remember what I did to you. And I was like, what? He's like, don't worry about it. It's fine.
That is funny.
That's just to reiterate that the active denial system is really crazy because it uses it uses the actual microwave heat technologies.
Burning your ass up.
When you walk up to something, it's supposed to be non-lethal.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not
sizzle your ass to death.
but it makes you feel uncomfortable.
I'm sure it does.
I've seen the demonstrations of this, and people are sitting there, and all of a sudden they're just kind of going, "Wow!" They run away. So I don't know, and people have sat there as long as they could and try to hang on, and
they melt.
But it's invisible,
Not
and
a
it's
fan.
something that's projected on the back of a truck. So it's pretty cool. I think actually, and also
Not a
pretty
fan.
scary. Not a fan of that either. I don't want to be actively denied in
It
anything.
just reminds me of Silicon Valley, like the first season where they did like the man heater, and like they were like, no, this is a bad idea. Don't do that. It's like, no, like let me demonstrate. And like the whole convention was like, no, like we're not funding that. Like that's not happening.
Well, I think it's interesting that the war of the worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is used as a weapon.
Sure.
That's interesting to me. So
Well, we'll see. Deterrent. This is a weapon.
it's a weapon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weapon.
non-lethal weapon. I'm
Sure,
defending the
yeah.
military, like I was mistaken this game.
Until someone dies from heat stroke because of it.
Yeah.
We wanted to next talk about the Jetsons, which is it's Healy's time.
Right.
This was the Jetsons was a TV show in the mid '60s.
I like the Jetsons.
Very, very popular show in the mid '60s. But on the Jetsons, they had Rosie the robot, who was actually
She was
very,
sassy.
was very sassy and did all the cleaning. She was the maid. And the Koreans have now made robot Maru Z.
Maruzi.
And Maru Z is
My dude right there.
Yeah, Maru Z can do a lot. He's got fully articulating fingers. He holds coffee. He dances. He plays cards. Like Maru Z can do it all.
Yeah, my Maruzi. We play dominoes all the time.
Oh my god.
At the crib.
Yeah, at the
had
crib
to
we
do
play
that.
dominoes.
Let me guess. You still beat him because you're the king of dominoes.
Exactly,
No one ever
exactly.
beats you at dominoes.
Exactly, exactly.
Not even Maru Z. You're like Watson can't even see me in dominoes.
Not even. No AI, no artificial intelligence, no supercomputer.
Achille
can't with you
claims
right
to
now.
be just everyone listening out there. iTunes, iTunes, and YouTube.
Wow.
Achille Shine claims to be the best domino player ever.
I am the LeBron of dominoes.
He does not
Why
lose
LeBron? Never mind.
ever.
I'm not even gonna get it. Not
So
gonna do that.
that's a gauntlet thrown out to anyone out there who wants to challenge
Yes,
this man at
please.
dominoes online.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Achille Shine.
Hold on, let me throw up your Twitter. There
Please
you
do,
go.
right
there
here.
you go.
Okay.
Achilles
So
Shine.
also, one thing that's really cool from the Jetsons, so they do have the vacuum robot, which is real. We have Roomba. So that actually
Roomba doesn't do anything.
Oh man,
That's
yeah,
a load. That is a
I'm
load
signed
of
out on that too.
BS.
I'm signed out on that too.
The Jetsons also had flat screen TVs.
Man.
Well,
They had they had the online ordering where you press the button and the food comes through. I mean,
They had you talk on your watch.
Yep.
you know,
Or see people on video conferencing.
they have the tanning beds.
They had everything.
The dog treadmill.
Flying cars.
I mean, the Jets, the flying cars aren't here yet.
I know.
though.
Well,
But the
they
Jetsons
are
were on
kinda,
point. Were on point. So number 8, I want to talk to one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
Back to the Future Part 2.
Yes.
Now, Back to the Future, the technology. We're not talking about time travel. No, we're not talking about a time traveling DeLorean.
Hoverboard.
But we are
I
talking
think this is
about
the best movie ever.
Yes.
Well, there's a bunch of things that happened in Part 2. Filmed on Universal back lot that scene, but the hoverboard was the coolest thing, and there is a hover that is here. That is something that finally made it. That is something
What?
that
Are you sure?
I have no.
I thought it was a misnomer.
Hoov, HUVR
Maybe I'm mistaken.
board.
Yeah.
I do know that the Nikes are here though.
The Nikes
Yes.
are
They're,
here.
they're dropping them actually this year, 2015.
I'm
Yeah.
buying. That's the one time I'm actually gonna spend a crap ton of money on shoes.
You're gonna grab those? Wow.
I'm gonna do it. I will save up every single penny because Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies, and if I can have his shoes,
Yeah, those
I
are
will
good.
wear them.
Those shoes are out for Nike. The hoverboard is actually was a prank.
Yeah, that's what
it was definitely
Yeah.
a prank.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Tony Hawk was riding
right.
it. It was
Yeah.
it was a April Fool's prank. But hey,
but they
man.
are working on it though.
But the self-tying shoes and the self-tying laces are definitely here. So.
And
Yeah.
just a note, like I think it's amazing to see. I mean, of course, in movies you see a lot of product placement,
Right.
and a brand like Nike, in this movie in the '80s,
Yeah.
and to fast forward in the '80s, they were just starting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Building with Jordan. And to fast forward now, like it's one of the top countries in the world, top companies in the world.
Sure.
And to see like them kind of like even making this a product now is really amazing.
This movie was 1980. Well, 85 was the first one. This was 87.
Yeah.
And it's a long time ago. And so, but also there was a lot of things also in this feature that we had the self-drying jacket that he's wearing, the self-adjusting self-drying jacket.
Where's that at?
His jeans don't look very futuristic. And
No,
Actually, they look very current.
Even with a haircut, but like I will say that the holographic billboard,
the theater, right?
I think it was like Jaws 19 or something. Which funny. Jaws. We didn't make it to Jaws 19.
Thank God.
But the holographic Jaws that came up, the robotic gas station. We didn't quite make it to that.
Yep.
So it's interesting. But I love Back to the Future.
Yeah,
also,
man.
another one of my favorite movies, Star Wars.
Yep,
a lot of technology in here. Now it's weird because Star Wars is sort of like, it's a galaxy far, far away. We don't know if it's the future or the past. It is. One of the things George Lucas did in Star Wars, which we never saw before, which is very cool, is this idea of a sort of a used future. Before Star Wars in 1977, all the science fiction movies, everything was pristine. The future, the spaceships were clean, and everything was shiny. Like George Lucas gave this world that was lived in. The Millennium Falcon was all scratched up, dirty,
mangled,
like.
Aged.
You got a sense of the things on Tatooine have been there for a while. You had a sense of this aged future, which is very cool. So I'm saying that to say that we don't know if this is the future or the past. However, in Return of the Jedi, one of my favorite sequences and one of my favorite movies, the hoverbike sequence. That's something that we all. Well, I mean, I was
30,
I hate to say it.
30?
I was 12 years
30,
old.
30.
12 years old when I saw this movie, and which still makes me old, by the way. And I thought it was the coolest sequence I've ever seen in history for about 10 years after that. So the hoverback's real now. They have this. It's not quite as sleek, but they have it.
I gotta tell
I
you,
wanna
man.
ride one
If
so
if
bad.
I seen somebody on that thing, I don't know what I would do. Honestly, that thing looked crazy. It looked like it could go like 200 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It looks amazing though.
It does look
It
amazing.
looks really dope.
So I mean, I don't know. The hoverbike is real. We're continuing
Real
into
dangerous.
all of my favorite movies.
Yep, same here.
Aliens.
What movie was that?
One of my Aliens. One of my all-time favorites. Aliens is a classic James
That's why you're my
Cameron.
favorite.
So the exoskeleton. I mean, so we chose Aliens. We could also have chosen
Iron Man.
but I'm thinking more importantly the Matt Damon Elysium.
Oh, Elysium.
Oh,
Elysium
yeah,
and some
that
other
was pretty
stuff.
cool.
But there is a DARPA exoskeleton that exists. The idea of Ripley in that suit battling that mother alien at the end of that was again one of the coolest things. Still remains. By the Aliens, by the way, holds up 100%. I don't know when's the last time anyone has watched Aliens. You watched that? You pop that in today. It holds up.
Of course.
Yep.
100%.
Absolutely.
A lot of practical effects. They don't do. There's not a lot of green screen. Not a lot of CGI. Well, there's no CGI back then, but like because it was done mostly practical effects. That thing holds up.
I mean, I think this is just really dope. Like another movie from the 80s and this type of technology being demonstrated, showing the sophistication of, I guess the military again and the prowess of weaponizing technology. I mean, you got to think like as a humanoid, as humans, we have limitations because of our biological makeup.
Yep.
There's only a certain height that we can jump to, a certain speed we can run to.
Yep.
And so now that you have this design of technology integrated into your biology, now you can lift things that are way or impossible for a regular human to lift. You can travel farther. You can carry more baggage. And it was definitely demonstrated in the movie because she was using it first to build stuff.
Yep.
And then she had to turn it into a weapon to save her life essentially.
Yeah.
And so now we're here in 2015 and we'll see that on the battlefield now. That's crazy.
It was crazy. I love the way they did it in the movie. It was like she has been relegated to just driving a loader. That was a loader. I can drive a class 4 loader, and so she's driving the loader around. Then at the end, she can get busy with the loader.
Man. Pop locking and everything.
Anyway, that's not
I have no words for you two right
It's
now.
all good.
Aliens. Check it out. 1988. Everything is dope. Check it
Man.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Another James Cameron classic.
Terminator.
Another, these are my movies, man.
I'm so
Star Wars and
excited.
Terminator, man. Augmented reality. So Terminator, we know that the way we saw in the 1984 version of Terminator, we had this very cool point of view from the Terminator, where this red screen out of his red eye, where he's looking at something and he's able to sort of scan it, check it out, see it in real time, sort of heads-up display. It was the same thing in Terminator 2 and 3. That's how we know we're looking at the Terminator point of view.
Yep.
That's essentially augmented reality.
For sure.
That technology now exists for us as we look through our, our screens.
Yeah, there's
Glass.
an app on iTunes where you can point your iPhone to the constellations, and you see all these different viewpoints of the constellations. Or there's another app where you point your iPhone down a road and you see dinosaurs walking. So I mean, that's crazy to think that that's integrated in terms of the popular culture. Like, you're able to see things that don't exist, and it really it's a different form of reality, because you're experiencing it, and it's rendering emotions and feelings, and
same thing
like it's
with
creating memories. Like it's crazy.
Same thing with games too. Like, if you have, obviously we have the Oculus Rift, but also before that we even had the Vita, where you can play games and you can react or play with your surroundings.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I like that.
And then another thing, which I don't know how this went. So in Terminator 2, as we know, the T-1000, played by Robert Patrick, was shape-shifting metal. He was liquid metal.
Yeah.
So now they're saying there's real shape-shifting metal.
Hey, I wouldn't know. I don't know. I don't know about that one, man. Shape shifting metal. Like, what is that? Like,
Lola, is that I'm calling off to producer Lola. I said that exists.
yeah, she's like affirmative.
Okay. So so that is also incredible, because that, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't.
Are you
exist.
sure it's not augmented reality?
It doesn't. It doesn't exist in the way that
I mean, it's not like in the movie where he makes liquid.
Get her a mic.
Oh, Lola's on the mic. Woo! What's that? 1 2 1 2. Check.
Man.
It's a small enough studio. We can make it work.
No, I got it. So yeah, so we'll that's.
I will say this. I mean, and obviously our top dog will probably highlight this too. But it's cool to see. I mean, as filmmakers ourselves, like how you do your investigative research.
Yep.
How you build your team. How you bring in people that are specialists or have expertise in a certain field, and then you have this conversation to create, an experience through filmmaking.
Absolutely.
That's not even a reality in the times that it was created in. I think that's really cool to see that integrated in the narrative storytelling. So I mean, as we continue in our top 3 or 4, we'll see that brain trust was created to really build these type of concepts that are long lasting, that are like classics. You know what I'm saying?
This is the things I like. All of my favorite filmmakers who's really sort of changed and challenged our imagination do that thing where they have something that feels like it's grounded in reality. So whether it's what I talked about, George Lucas for sort of introducing the world to the used future.
Yep.
Whether it's James Cameron, who really brought the idea of this like tech and mech and what he did in Aliens and what he did in Terminator 2 and Terminator 1, this world of like tech, and even in the Abyss, like and even in Avatar, like everything
For sure.
he builds, you feel like is real.
It's
and
immersive.
and feels like something. Spielberg does this as well. We'll talk about that later. But number 4. 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is, as we sit in 2015, a movie made in 1968. Really sort of visualizing what
I cannot do that, Dave.
Yes. How? What 2001 would look like. They got a lot wrong.
They got a lot right too.
But they got a lot right. I'll start with something that's not on here is Hal is Watson pretty close.
Pretty much.
So Hal is like Watson. That's scary.
Or Siri.
Or Siri, exactly.
Or what's my other chick?
Cortana,
yeah.
Yeah, so
Cortana.
I'm really afraid of that situation. I'm really afraid when Siri's telling me that you cannot do that, Joe.
Yeah. I cannot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing with like iRobot and stuff. I mean, even though it's a physical thing, it's the
Sure.
same stuff where they can put you inside of the houses and things like that, and they
absolutely.
can lock your doors. Like, ugh.
That's all scary.
Yeah.
But listen, there's a scene that we have here that he's eating breakfast and he's checking out the news on this tablet, and it's
iPad.
an iPad.
Yeah.
It's Steve Jobs. It's what Steve Jobs really he was hit. That looks like an iPad.
I mean, that movie.
So-
I'm sure that movie
Giant
influenced him tremendously. I'm sure it did.
And people are looking at that. Remember 1969, being like, "Whoa!" I mean, because even like what's great about that is the aspect ratio is something that we didn't even have. Like aspect ratio of TVs in 1969 were not only 4:3, but they were like curved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about cathode tubes,
Yeah.
curved tubes before we even got to like an actual.
And that
But have a flat design, and also have that have the 16:9 aspect ratio.
I mean, I think to a greater point too. Like, we have tablets in this day and age, and it's so integrated into society that we don't even take a second look. Like, I have a tablet sitting right here. It's like it's so a part of our DNA almost.
Yeah.
Like it's like we don't even think like, well, you don't have a tablet. Like, what's wrong with you? Almost.
Apple,
it's like
Apple's really changed the game with that.
No, I totally agree. Like, bringing back to the Space Odyssey thing is just like, well, when my grandpa, comes in and he sees me with like my laptop and my iPad and my phone all doing things for work. He just sits there and he goes, I had a notepad.
Right, I had a pen and paper. Right.
Yep. But now you can send emails to across,
It's really remarkable.
Ocean. It's
That is
crazy.
remarkable.
It's
Yeah,
remarkable
from like a tiny little
on
device.
multiple levels.
Yeah.
Also, just really quickly, the phone booth is another thing that they had in there, which is basically FaceTime and Skype, which we do regularly, which is featured in a lot of futuristic movies. The idea of using a wall to communicate.
Yeah.
Number 3, James Bond in the James Bond series. There's been a lot of gadgets in the James Bond. There's 24 James Bond films, a lot of gadgets across the board. But most notably, in 1963, in you're right over there?
James Bond.
1963, from Rush with Love, starring the great George Lazenby. He had a car phone and a pager.
I know.
Like, he had. Like, that was his state-of-the-art car. It was really cool to see, like, the idea of, like, I have a phone in my car and I have GPS, and he's got, like, the whole joint.
I think
it looks like it's real.
Absolutely. I think that's what makes the Bond franchise such a legacy franchise in the sense that they've always from day one integrated technology. They've always wanted to think and push boundaries and think forward. And I mean, again, like I feel like I'm really reiterating the military aspect of this, but we see it really enforced in this franchise. Like, in terms of like I think we're going to cover the biometric pistol. I mean, I know that's moving into like the newer version of James Bond, where you can only pull the trigger if it has essentially your genetic code attached to the gun, and like that's here, like that is real. Like, they're about 5 years away from making that like open to the public, and so just to see like how an idea can start in a laboratory and maybe be presented in a movie, and now it's to millions of people. I think that's pretty phenomenal.
I agree. So we're running short on time. Let's move on a little, because there's other stuff like the spinning license plate and the biometric pistol, which just happened in Skyfall, which just happened. But we're getting into the top 2, which have a lot of stuff. But I want to give a couple honorable mentions here, like Total Recall, the '80s version. There's in Total Recall, he has the screen with his entire room becomes a screen, and that's kind of cool. That reminds me of some stuff there. But anyway, I thought Total Recall off the top of my head. Total Recall has a lot of cool stuff in it.
Well, it's the same thing with like Spy Kids 2, actually. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's more of a very, very
Spy
good show.
Kids
But
2.
I mean, no, just Spy Kids in general. Because since I'm an older sister, I usually find like these movies for my brothers to watch. And with Spy Kids, it was kind of cool to see like you press a button and a drawer opens and it's like McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hot and it's ready to go. And then there's like little gadgets and things like that. Like, they're trying to find different drawers to. I don't know if I can't remember the article, but I know that they're trying for people who can't, who are blind, and they're trying to label their drawers. So maybe if they can't physically open it, they can just push a button and it'll just open for them. I think that's cool. I mean, obviously it's not just for McDonald's and food to come out, but just to help them with their everyday lives, like the self-tying shoes and things like that.
Absolutely.
For
So
I thought that was pretty cool.
That is very cool. So moving on, the top 2, Star Trek, the Star Trek franchise. They have a bunch. They really had it right. I mean, taking it back to the '60s version, they have the tricorder, which is sort of a precursor to our phones and our iPad. They have the pad that Uhura used, the PADD, which is the iPad, another iPad situation. And then even getting into the next generation, they had something called the Replicator in the '80s TV show, which is essentially a 3D printer. They got that right
For sure. And they had the what's the device where it would scan to see what type of illness you had?
Yeah, that's a tricorder.
Oh, that's a tricorder.
Yeah. That's the one. They had that one.
Gotcha.
And then the virtual display device, which is the Borg used, and they use that a lot in Next Generation. That's Google Glass.
Right.
That
So
is.
I mean, there's a bunch that Star Trek as a series had right, and the films had right, and are you a Trekker? Are you?
Am I a Trekkie?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa,
Well,
what's
no.
a trekker?
I'll tell you right now.
Trekkie.
No. I mean, we'll correct you both. They don't call each other Trekkies anymore. They prefer Trekkers.
Okay.
Trekkies is like
didn't know
what my mama was. Trekkers is what the cool people are.
So wait, are you saying your mom's not cool?
No, I'm saying my mom is cool. She's a
I was about to say, I was
Just
like,
saying, get with the times, man.
all right.
I had a good one, but I'm going to keep it. Okay. To myself.
Let's move on. The number one movie, Minority Report. We talked about it multiple times.
We have?
I mean,
Yes, go
I
ahead.
have.
We talked about multiple times. It's kind of the inspiration, one of the inspirations for us doing this because this movie really got it right. And
It did.
we've told the story before, but famously, Steven Spielberg decided he's going to get this right. He got the top sort of futurist and technology guys and really got a gigantic think tank of about 5 or 6 guys together.
Yeah, and not just science guys. He got all different types of guys, economists, architects.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very diverse think tank and brain trust. It wasn't just limited to just the sciences. It was humanities, everything.
He literally locked them in a hotel room in Santa Monica and said,
Let's work.
Tell me what the future is going to be. And they came out with all this stuff, and man, they had it all right.
They did.
Yep.
I mean, everything from heads-up display, them walking through and be able to eye scan and identify what brands you are. Not just the technology that can identify your, hey, like, hello, Akili, but the methodology that we use, that Facebook and Google now use to sell you
This
stuff.
personalized advertising,
Yeah.
where based on based on the data collection that they've been doing on us because of what we've inputted on their platforms, are able to be very specific and surgical in terms of what the offering of advertisement is. And so
Right.
that was displayed in the Minority Report, as you said, when you're walking past a store or a billboard, and it recognizes you based on your phenotypical traits, and boom, it offers you what it thinks you might like.
Right.
That technology is here. We covered this story maybe about a year ago with I wrote it down. It's a company called where is it? I have it right here. Tesco. Remember that? Is in the UK.
Yeah.
Where you pull up to
giant supermarket chain in the UK.
Yeah. Pull up to a gas station. They also have gas stations. You pull up to a gas station, and it recommends a pack of cigarettes for you or
Yep.
whatever. You know what I
Good
mean?
to see you again, Akili.
Exactly.
So face recognition technology software they had. There's the big sort of like the famous crews wearing the gloves and sort of going through, searching through things. That exists. We saw that at CES last year, in the air, this moving around things. Like that exists now too.
The air touch stuff.
Yes, all
Yeah,
the air touch
yeah,
stuff.
stuff.
I mean, they really had it right. And
Yeah.
so I still another great movie. If you have not seen Minority Report, another movie that still holds up, even though a lot of the technology is still used here, the way they shot it and the way they sort of utilize it in that movie, it's very cool, very stylized.
Absolutely.
Mystery, if you will. And that's it. That's all we got, man. We blew through 11 movies and TV shows.
For sure. And I'll just say, like, I think, what makes this show really unique is that we cover, both tech and geek culture, and to see like it displayed in cinema, I think is awesome. And to do kind of like a deep dive or analysis of it, I think it's cool, man. Like it makes me want to go back and watch all these movies again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want to go through and check them all out. I do want to give a shout out to for Lola Audabo, our
Yeah,
producer who put all this together.
Lola.
She always helps us out with the research. This is good. This can apply. So thank you to Lola. Alexis, where can we find you?
You can find me all over the interwebs as atorres890. You can also find me on YouTube as youtube.com/ps890. Also help out my family. We're doing basketball stuff. We've been coaching for a really long time. We're trying to send 40 kids to Miami for their first East Coast tournament. So do vtelitebasketball.com.
Cool. Can you coach Keely?
I can.
Okay.
Cool.
Where can we find you?
You can find me at
On the court?
you can find me at your convalescent home, bringing you flowers.
Thank you, sir.
No, you can find me on
Can I have
Instagram. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at Keely Shine, AKILISHINE. Right. And where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Joe K. Braswell. Also on our sister network, AfterBuzz, doing Bates Motel and Blacklist and Mad Men. It's a fantastic time doing this. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
From Producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us or Instagram us at BHL. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.